So this is the first Cover Cal High podcast of 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
baby.
Any New Year resolutions?
Got nothing for you.
I got
Get
one,
back to me
I got
next
one
episode.
for you, and that's actually going to be on video. I will be cutting down on buying shoes. I'm limiting myself to 10 pairs this year, and
10
it's on
pairs.
video.
Have you sold any of them?
I sold a lot last year.
You mentioned a little bit about that last year, a little bit over the summer as well, did you?
Yeah, I sold a lot like last month.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Tyler Flipson, Adrian Soriano. So, all right, let's dive into winter sports. We had some great games last week, and we'll give you some scores. Starting off with girls soccer, Woodside getting the job done, beating Newark Memorial 4-0. Los Gatos getting the job done. A little Peninsula Santa Clara Valley battle with their matchup against Gunn. They won 3-0. And then Mitty. You know, Mitty girls soccer, they're always going to be a team to watch out for during this time. They went on to beat San Luis Obispo 2-0.
Yep. I can't wait. You know, it's always the end of the year. Mitty and St. Francis, both boys and girls team, great programs. And they always seem to face each other at the end of the year for some good stuff. Let's go over to Mountain View and Los Altos boys soccer, where Mountain View was able to get done 1-0. We go on over to College Park in Pittsburgh boys soccer, where Pittsburgh got it done in a impressive fashion, 5-1. And then we go to Las Lomas and SRV, where SRV surmounts Las Lomas 3-1.
All right, and then so we go to the Del Mar tournament, the John Arujo Gold Division. Valley Christian 70-36 over Hollister. Congratulations to the Lady Warriors. And in the Black Memorial Division, Santa Teresa. Did they?
Mountain View.
Mountain View. It didn't say on the run.
Oh, yeah, Mountain View.
So Mountain View did. Okay, so my bad. Mountain View over Santa Teresa, 43-39. And then the very, very scary game last weekend. And we'll talk about this in just a second. Mitty's first regular season loss since December of 2022. So over a year. They lost to Ontario Christian, the number 2 team, according to Max Preps, 61-44.
Yep,
What a run.
And the day before that Mitty game, they went on
killed
to
St. Joseph.
play St. Joseph, and Mitty was just all over that. So that was a dominant victory, and those highlights are up on our YouTube if you want to go check that out. Let's move over to boys hoops now. This was a great game. St. Joseph Notre Dame taking on Piedmont, a very close battle, but it's St. Joseph Notre Dame 70-68.
That's good stuff.
I was out at this game in Pleasant Hill Friday night. This was a great battle between College Park and Livermore. College Park really needed this game before they start diving into league play. They really needed this one. They got the job done beating Livermore 61-57. And there was another key player that was in your game for your crumble, Adrian, with Scotty Brennan. He did not play, and, you know, that was the big difference maker because Milpitas was able to get the job done, beating Los Gatos 52-40. So let's start talking about these key injuries. Starting off with Scotty Brennan. So, big crumble game. He's not playing. Broken hand.
He broke his hand the week before against Soquel in the tournament. So, and I saw him too. You know, very, very nice guy. You know, they're always happy that we're always there. And you know, he had a cast in his hand. Oh, just moved the mic. But he had a cast in his hand. So, you know, I don't know how long he's out. I did ask him. He didn't tell me. So, but
Which hand was it? Was his left or right hand?
It's
his right hand.
Right hand,
if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So you know that's
he's left hand dominant, right?
He is, but you know, still
unideal, absolutely.
Right. And so that's a lot of LG's offense right there, right? He was their leading scorer. Coming into the week before. Right. So you know. I think they'll be okay. They'll be okay. But now this league is going to be a lot closer now because watch out, Pally looks really good, and Jarrell Clark is scoring like crazy.
You saw him in action in the Damian Lillard
That's
Classic, and he dropped a 30-piece.
30, and he had another big game against Mountain View last Saturday.
Yep.
He had I think he had 30 points again. I think so.
No, that kid is legit. I remember covering him in a NorCal game last year against Santa Teresa, And Santa Teresa at that time, that was a really stacked team that they had. And Jarrell Clark was just knifing his way to the cup, possession after possession, and he was just in his groove. And, Jarrell Clark is having an outstanding season for those Vikings.
Absolutely.
Look out for Palo Alto, ladies and gentlemen. But not only was Scotty Brennan, you talked about him being the leading scorer. I mean, that's your rim protector right there. I mean, so not only you're losing him as a top scorer, but it's the rebounding that's also going to pay dividends in the long run.
This is where you only strengthen your bench, right? I mean, you lose your top guy, it's the next man up mentality. No matter what sport it is, that for me comes from football, but still translate over. So, it puts your bench to the test, saying, okay, step up, because I'm no doctor, but that's 3 to 4 weeks easy for sure with a broken hand, I imagine. So
they'll be fine.
They'll be okay.
It's Anthony Morton is a good player. Osha Maloney, good player. They have some studs over there on the bench and the lineup.
Anthony Martin, he provides great minutes for those Wildcats. So they're going to be fine. But I think, at the end of the day, it's going to be Los Gatos Pally.
Yeah. Wow, you're counting out Milpitas. All right. That's okay.
I'm just saying.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm just saying. I mean, we don't know when Scotty's going to come back, and if he comes back in time, watch out for this team.
Watch out.
Well, we'll be watching this league very closely.
Yeah, we will. We will definitely be on the lookout. McKenna Velichko, another
this is the big one here.
Stellar athlete, the Bay Area's best girls basketball player, goes down. Unfortunately, it was a non-contact injury.
It's always scary. You hate to see that.
And it was a knee injury, if I recall correctly.
That's right, yeah.
And whenever you're in that situation and it's non-contact and you feel a pop, that is never a good sign. No, but the good news is, after they did evaluations and tests, nothing is broken.
Not yet.
Not yet.
She's having more tests this week. And again, big shout out to her dad, Mr. Velichko, for really updating us. And, honestly, I found out, well, you guys kind of found out at the same time I was, I was driving back from Castro Valley because I spent some time with family before my game. And, all of a sudden I see McKenna Velichko hurt. I'm like, uh-oh. And now I see another tweet from Joseph Dykes. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I told you guys right away. And, again, we'll see what happens. There's more tests coming, but, it's positive.
It's scary stuff with non-contact. Immediately, you go to worst case scenario in your head, right? To go down with a player like that, too, because she's going to be tough as nails and battle through if she can, right? And so if it's non-contact, go down. It's a scary thing. But with both these injuries, right, they got a long season. I mean, and that's the thing, it's a grind, and it's scary and concerning when you have early in the season injuries like this to your key players. But again, if staying optimistic, this is something that they can both overcome to come back late in the season when their teams are probably making these playoff pushes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we don't know the timetable for McKenna, but the one thing I will say is that Sue Phillips is going to make adjustments. There's a reason why she is one of the best coaches in the nation.
She's a Hall of Fame coach.
She's a Hall of Fame coach. Exactly. So, look for other people to step up. And, the one athlete that draws my attention is Devin Cosgrove, the transfer from Bishop O'Dowd. She will provide great minutes. She's going to attack the basket. She's got a great mid-range jumper, and she's a great rebounder. So I think when you look at this Mitty team, I think they're going to be all right still. Yes, it's a huge loss. I do understand that. But Sue Phillips, she's going to make the necessary adjustments to put her team in a great position to win.
And Mitty, when you can't really compare, right, both teams because, Los Gatos boys. But Mitty girls are in a much better shape. Right? No disrespect to the other teams in the West Catholic League, but, they're on a tier of their own, and you have everyone else, right? So, I think this is the time for everyone to really develop going into the playoffs in about a month.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy to say.
It's going to
fly
by.
We're about a month-ish, maybe 5 or so weeks away from the playoffs. So
it flies.
it flies. And this is where time's going to really fly.
Yeah. It should be interesting to see what Mitty and Los Gatos does, with some of their top key players going down. Still yet to determine what is the timetable for both of those athletes are, but it should be really interesting down the stretch.
We're wishing Scotty and McKenna all the best, though.
Exactly.
Right?
We
Nothing but
sure
good
are.
news, so we hope
sure
it's
are. I had some key players that were injured in my Chick-fil-A sportsmanship game last week with Acalanes Serra. For Acalanes, they were without their top scorer, Gavin Dodge, due to concussion. But he will be back this week as Acalanes is going to be set for league play in the Diablo division. And then Jace Cannon. Serra has an outstanding rim protector, sophomore 6'6" center. They were without him. He rolled his ankle in the Bambauer Classic, where Serra actually went on to win that tournament. So, two teams that had key contributors gone. So it's like, well, obviously when you look at Serra, I mean, they got some spectacular. I don't know why I couldn't say spectacular. That took a little bit.
It's the emphasis of the word.
Yeah, they have some spectacular shooters in Mikey Ballout and Ryan Rice. And Ryan Rice was doing his thing. He led the team in scoring with 15 points. And, a lot of his points came from beyond the arc. And he was just really feeling it. And, Serra was able to pull away in this game in the fourth quarter. And when I asked Ryan, what were some of those adjustments, because I interviewed him after the game, you know what he said?
What did he say?
Take them in the deep water and drown them. And that's exactly what they did, because Serra in the fourth quarter outscored Acalanes 20-7.
Man almighty.
Wow.
Stuck to
It
his
was a
guns.
close game, right?
Yeah, it was a close game until the fourth quarter,
Wow.
and they made those necessary adjustments. Mikey Ballout with 13 points. He had a great game. That's a great win for Serra. 9-1. You get all the confidence you need in the world because, it's the WCAL we're talking about. That's another tough league.
So I guess the message received from that is if you're playing Serra, bring your floaties because they're taking you to the deep water. If you can't swim, you're going to find out fast. Bring your floaties. All
Can I bring my drink?
Yeah, and for Acalanes, they're going to be fine. I mean, obviously, they're going to get Gavin back in full swing this week for league play. And I saw some great things from Cameron Hood.
Yeah.
He did a great job running the point. He had 13 points in this game. His ability to attack the basket, and he's got a really nice jumper. And, if he needs to pull the trigger from three-point land, he will do that. No question about it. So I saw a lot of good things in Cameron Hood and Ryder Malm. He also had a big game with 14 points for those Dons. They're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. Obviously, it's tough when you don't have your top player, but, at the end of the day, they're going to turn it around.
Yeah.
They're going to tear it around.
Absolutely.
Oakland Tech SRV. This was a really close game.
Yes, it was.
Compared to last year, because those two teams faced each other to tip off the season with a tournament. I'm pretty sure it was out in Pinole, I think.
I think it was like maybe like a showcase.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
a showcase a year ago, and SRV rolled past Oakland Tech. This game was a lot closer last
closer.
Friday. But San Ramon Valley, they were able to get the job done. It was only a 5-point ball game, 53-48 being the final. And with San Ramon Valley, they lost a lot of great players last year.
Yes.
And they're a very young team. There are no seniors on this roster. And there are only 2 juniors, ladies and gentlemen. 2 juniors.
It's a young team.
Yeah.
It's a very young team.
There's a lot of promise for the future, too.
Yeah.
It is, yep.
Yeah. I mean, with Alyssa Rudd having a double-double, 19 points along with 10 boards,
All right.
leading the way for the Wolves, and then Caitlin Mills adding 10 points. A great win for San Ramon Valley.
It is.
A great win because we had no idea what we would expect from this team, jumping out of the gates for non-league play, but I think they made a statement where it's like, okay, they're going to be fine. Yes, they're a little bit down, based on the talent that they had last year and with all the young players. But I think come league play, they're going to be all right because it's going to be between them and Carondelet
again. Yep.
Right. So,
and to see, them handle Tech the way they did, we know a lot about Tech. We know the kind of team that they are, and because we knew so little about SFA, like you said, to see them take care of Tech like that shows that hey, all right, they got something to work with here. Young team, a lot of firepower in them. So it'll be exciting to see how they go in the stretch of the season here.
Yeah, Jai Johnson, Terrier, doubles, 15 points for Terrier along with Jai, and then also with 14 boards. So, I mean, that's a great win for San Ramon Valley.
It is, and you can't knock Tech for, again, scheduling tough opponents, man. You look at their record, right? We'll get into it later with the polls, man. You look at their record, like, oh, that's not a good record. Well, who they played? They played Mater Dei, like, during the winter break.
Oh, and St. Mary's of Stockton.
And St. Mary's of Stockton. So it's like, well, you know, can you really knock them for losing those games, right? I mean, it's a way for them to really test themselves and get better. And this is a test, too, against San Ramon Valley. It was a 5-point game.
Yeah, and the
at
day,
San Ramon.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah, and the day after, they just poured it on. They beat Redwood in the Sabrina Ionescu Classic.
Yeah.
84-64 was the final, and Terrier Russell, I mean, my goodness, 33 points.
She had 33 points against
She
Redwood?
dropped 33 points, and then Jai with 29.
Have a day.
Oh my
Have
goodness.
a day.
That's
Good
more than
grief.
half of their
You know,
points.
Talk about a bounce back victory for Oakland Tech, and that is much needed, you know, to get any sort of confidence, especially with a big tournament like that. Out over at Carondelet, and then, you know, obviously they're going to be set for league because they start OAL play this week.
Yep.
You got to take some respect to the fact of the kind of program we have to schedule state level teams in the preseason, non-league play. To be taking on teams like that this early in the season, that takes a level of confidence and a clear mind, because that's easy to get, you know, intimidated and discouraged given the result of some of those games, right?
Yeah.
To do that, it's impressive for Tech to be doing what they're doing.
And Coach Leroy is not afraid of the competition.
No, he's not.
I remember a
We
couple
know
years
that.
ago, I think it might have been a couple years ago, they scheduled Mitty.
Yeah.
Mitty girls.
Yeah. Last year they faced Etowanda, who went on to win the Open.
So they are not afraid of the competition. And you know what? Come playoff time, it's really, really going to help them.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's another team that was in the tournament this week. At Etowanda, they went on to beat Carondelet.
Exactly, yeah.
That Etowanda team, they look real good, but Ontario Christian is actually ranked higher than
they are. So I guess Ontario is back at number 1, and Mitty's probably number 2 or number 3 right now. So, you know, but still, right? And we'll get to it in the polls.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to some of our previews. Starting off with this East Bay League clash.
Here we go.
I like to call it the league where you just never know what to expect. I love this league.
Should I say it again, like what I said on our last podcast when we were here?
What?
The World War stuff? Like
no.
All right, we're good then. We're
You're
good.
shut down. You're shut down.
Anyways, Dougherty Valley, they will be making the quick trip over to Danville, the battle of those San Ramon Valley Wolves. And, you know, whenever these two teams face each other, you're really in for a treat. So San Ramon Valley, they went to Dougherty Valley last year, and they won 64-61. The year before that, I was actually at that game in Danville. Dougherty Valley went on to beat SRV 64-58. And our big man for Dougherty Valley, Jalen Stokes, is back in action for those Wildcats.
So they won the appeal from the CAF. So as soon as they won that appeal, you know, he was cleared immediately to play. So, you know, here we go.
Big.
And you know what? This is it. When we get to our polls, I know we keep saying the polls. This is like the last week where I'm kind of a little bit, you know, iffy in some of these ranking stuff because it's hard. Now we're into league. Here we go. And it doesn't get any better than the East Bay League.
Rock and roll, baby.
Here we go, man. What do you think, Jake? What do you think about this game?
You know, when I think about this game, obviously, I think it's going to be close. And, you know, obviously, you know, there are two talented coaches on both sides. Two talented coaches. And not only that, there are some magnificent players on both sides. You know, you start off with Jalen Stokes. What he did at Dublin last year, you know, is just spectacular. I mean, he can shoot the ball at a high level. He can crash the boards, you know, and he's going to put up numbers week in, week out, or game in, game out. I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a legitimate player, and that's one of the big reasons why he's going to be playing some Mountain West basketball next year at UC Davis.
Yep.
So
No, are they Mountain West?
yeah,
No,
they're now the Mountain West.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that got into effect this year.
All right, I'm behind then, I guess.
Get with the times, dude.
Sorry,
So
man.
Jalen Stokes, I mean, what he's doing out there is pretty spectacular. And then obviously with San Ramon Valley, I mean, Luke Isaac, he is a deadly shooter from deep. And not only they have Luke Isaac, there's also Mason Thomas, who,
Yep.
he may be a very the height may not be going his way, but he could shoot the ball at a really high level, and he's going to give you good minutes.
Yeah.
Those are two deadly shooters that San Ramon Valley has, and they're really talented.
Don't forget the
they
Conley
faced
twins.
some really tough teams in some tournaments. They lost to Roosevelt. That's a really good team. They
yeah.
lost to Salesian, Reardon. So, those tournaments have prepared San Ramon Valley to, be like, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we need to do. And I think they need to do that with a big test on their home court this Friday with Dougherty Valley.
And don't forget the Conley twins too.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
Looks like the list goes on and on. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really just a matter of looking forward to seeing what these two teams each bring to the table, especially the fact that I didn't get the opportunity, excuse me, to cover either one of these teams this season, last season.
Yeah.
So, I have just known through you guys and covering them, so not myself. But, again, the tape's there. We've looked at the score margin over the years, right?
Yeah.
We know that this is going to be a great game. So, I mean, can't we
Absolutely.
see, especially with the new factor, Jalen Stokes there to put it all onto the court to apply. So,
Yep.
can't wait.
Yep.
Yep.
And
So,
then,
yeah, and they need him. They
Yes.
need Jalen. Jalen's going to do his thing, though. Guarantee it.
And don't forget, Dougherty lost to Sierra Canyon by like 4 points.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a big. I mean, I don't care if they that was a loss. That's a big statement win for Dougherty. So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Dougherty Valley did lose to Valley Christian a few weeks back, and Valley
Yep.
Christian has won 9 of its first 10 games.
Yeah.
They are off to a magnificent start.
it's probably their best start in a long time.
Yeah. Magnificent. They're going to be going up against Mitty. And when you think of Mitty, I mean, Tim Kennedy.
Yep.
Everyone thinks about Tim Kennedy, who is one of the best coaches in the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a big test for Valley Christian. I will be there tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Mitty. It's a Chick-fil-A game, right? So, hey, Caden Hutcherson, he's back, right? He's our best player. This is, again, it's a big test for Valley Christian, right? Welcome to the gauntlet that is the West Catholic Athletic League, right? Obviously, Reardon is the big favorite, but who is going to finish second? Actually, I have no idea. It could be Serra. It could be SI.
Yeah,
it could be
SI.
Mitty.
Don't
It
sleep
could be
on
Valley Christian.
Yep.
It could be Bellarmine, for crying out loud. I cannot even believe I'm saying that. But
Yeah, I
Bellarmine's
can't
got a
believe it
big,
either.
but Bellarmine has a very good basketball
Yep.
team this year.
That's
and
all-
I actually saw them in action last week. So
That's why we
you
love
know,
the Dub Cow, baby.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Sacred Cathedral. Don't forget about Sacred Cathedral.
We love a good ball.
Braden Harris has been providing some great minutes for the Warriors. Last year, he transferred mid-season out of Bellarmine to Valley Christian. And, Braden Harris has provided a spark for those Warriors, along with Brian Clark. And then they got this big man who's only a sophomore, 6'9", Tenny Benasebi.
Oh.
I mean, Benasebi, he can crash the boards.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he fights his way to the cup and he's able to finish with layups and putbacks. I mean, I feel like for this game, Valley Christian has to get off to a fast start.
Yes.
And if it's low scoring and if it's a defensive showdown, I think Mitty has the advantage in that aspect. So if you're Valley Christian, you have to get off to a fast start in this one.
And especially they have to travel to the pit, right? I guess that's what they call the Mitty city section, the pit. So, like I said, this is very big for Valley Christian to get off to a fast
You
start.
expecting a good turnout?
Oh, yeah. When it comes to league games, it's always going to be a good turnout, right? Whether it's the East Bay League, West Catholic League, Diablo Athletic League, it's always going to be a good turnout, especially for Valley Christian and Mitty. I mean, these guys have been, neck and neck in any sport for the past couple of years, especially baseball, right? So, I'm expecting a big crowd. I'm expecting a very, very lively crowd, and I'm expecting a big game tomorrow night.
We know I'm football biased, but there's nothing like a packed gym and the roars bouncing off the walls and the ceiling, or the chants from the student section calling out air ball, whatever it is. I love the environment of a loud gym, man.
And you know what? I mean, this is a tough week too, right? Serra and St. Ignatius tomorrow night too, and I don't think we're shooting that game, and it sucks. But that's another big rivalry game, right? I think that's like the jungle game or something like that.
We got a lot of, like we said, a lot of season left.
Exactly,
it's gonna fly by.
Exactly.
But we'll get them. We'll get them. So
yeah, a lot of fun leagues that we.
Here we go. This is my favorite time of the year.
This is your favorite time of the year?
Well, I mean, it's basketball season, right? So time's gonna fly a lot faster now.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna get the show done a little bit quicker. Hopefully.
True.
Right? And and hey, my birthday is coming up too. So, this is
all right.
This is why I'm excited for this time of the year.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right. Are you excited about the polls?
I am very excited about the polls.
Okay.
This is okay. I did not go camping this time. Right? I didn't go on a ski trip, but I do pay attention.
Was that
even
episode
during
3?
our break. Even during our winter break.
That was episode 3.
I know that's quite the callback to our OG viewers, right?
Wow.
But I do pay attention.
Danny Root got us down like that.
I'm still battling this cough. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I was at my Christmas Eve party. I'm still paying attention to the polls, man. Still doing it. But let's get to
They
it.
said white elephant, no polls, baby.
That's
Lock
right,
in.
baby. That's right. That's right. But anyway, Mitty is still our number 1 team for girls basketball. And let me say this. We don't know how long McKenna's going to be out. Hopefully, not too long. But I'm going to continue saying this. Until somebody in the Bay Area beats Mitty, they will be our number 1 team.
Sure.
Right? I don't care if they lose to Folsom.
That Ontario Christian team.
Exactly.
They're spectacular.
If they lose to Folsom, they're still our number 1 team. And Folsom's really good.
All right.
They are. So, Mitty number 1 obviously beat St. Joseph and lost to Ontario Christian. Carondelet number 2, they beat Dougherty Valley in league. Then they lost big to Etowanda again. Carondelet losing to Etowanda, that's right. No shame in losing to Etowanda. Back-to-back defending state champions. Pinewood number 3 still. They beat Rancho Buena Vista on the Sabrina Classic. Our top 4 teams, they all played in the Sabrina UNESCO Classic. But Pinewood did lose to Folsom. Acalanes number 4, they beat Maria Carrillo and lost to South Medford from Oregon. Then Sacred Heart Cathedral number 5, they didn't play last week, so they're getting rest and getting ready for league this week. San Ramon Valley number 6, they beat Marin Catholic and Oakland Tech. Tech at 7, they beat Redwood in the UNESCO Showcase and lost to San Ramon Valley. St. Ignatius number 8 also did not play last week, so also getting ready for league play. Salesian girls number 9, they beat Clayton Valley. And Woodside Priory enters our poll at number 10. They beat St. Francis in the West Coast Jamboree Diamond Division, which is like the 2nd-tier division in the Jamboree.
How do you think they come up with these Jamboree and tournament names? There's so many unique ones.
I don't know. But I mean, I think the top one's like the Platinum, and I forgot who won, but it's like someone from SoCal who won that tournament.
I'm probably naive to how some of it works, but some of them have very unique names. But
yeah,
welcome Woodside Priory to the poll. Welcome, welcome.
And they've been wanting us to shoot their games, so we'll get them not this week.
We're gonna get them next week
against
though,
Pinewood.
Yep.
So
against Pinewood,
exactly.
And we're gonna really see what this Priory team's all about.
Yep.
We're really
forward all shoot complaints to at Adrian Soriano.
Not complaints, but
Flood
request it. Request it. We'll see what it is, and we may honor it. But again, league play, right? League play officially begins for most of the leagues, right? Some of them started last Saturday.
Yep.
Some of them started last week. So here we go, man. Welcome to league play. Yeah.
This is where it gets good. This is where
This
the fun
is it
begins.
right here.
I'm trying to picture what that NCS Open bracket's gonna look like.
And it's never too early to kind of predict.
Acalanes.
Carondelet. Don't forget Carondelet.
Oh yeah, Carondelet, obviously.
Yeah, Salesian maybe.
Salesian could be in that mix.
Cardinal Newman.
I was gonna say, where do you even begin?
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting out of this.
The one thing I will say is when you think about all these teams and all these matchups, these big non-league matchups, like for example, Pinewood had to square off with Folsom, and yes, they did lose that game, but I really think Folsom could be a deadly 2 or 3 seed come
in the
NorCal.
NorCals. Yeah, and they're a very good team.
They gave Mitty a fight.
They gave Mitty a run for their money last year, man. At Mitty too, which is never easy, right? To travel all the way down from Folsom to give Money a run for their money. That's a very, very good team this year. And Pinewood Salesian also this Saturday. We're not covering that game, but that should also really tell us where both of these teams are.
Well, the thing is, if we're not actually, covering the games, but we got eyes on them.
Absolutely.
We watch the records, we watch the scores, so I mean, that's the thing. We always got eyes on all these
Listen,
matchups.
I will be watching football this weekend, and I'm going to get my hair done. I'm still going to be paying attention to the polls. Maybe put on the stream if they're streaming it. We'll see what happens. But I'm paying attention. Camping, ski trip, whatever.
I love we always have the insight on Adrian's life on these episodes. He always
do.
lets us know what he does over the weekend. He's going to get his hair done, or if
Hey,
he's by the campfire looking
You
at
gotta
the
be personal, man.
polls,
You gotta be personal.
Sure, we always have the insight on Adrian's
I ain't
life.
mentioning any of that.
No.
That's okay. I'm open. I'm an open book.
I live my life through secrets. I'm
Wow.
mysterious.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm a mysterious one.
Top secret,
Okay.
serviceman. Yeah. All
Something
right, let's
like
go to
that.
the boys.
All right,
poll.
boys polls now. Boys polls. Reardon is still our number 1 team. They actually participated in the Torrey Pines Holiday Classic, and they lost to J. Serra Catholic in the championship game.
Good team.
Good team. Number 2, De La Salle. They were at the Nike Tournament of Champions in the Hoop Hall West bracket. They lost to Harvard Westlake in the championship, but they did beat.
They won the
state
Open.
champion.
They won the
state
Open
champion,
last year. Was
but they
against
did
Legion.
beat Duncanville from Texas, who's like a nationally ranked
That's
team.
a good team.
It's a very good team. It's a very good statement win for the Spartans. They are still number 2. Yep. Number 3, Salesian. They did not play last week, so again,
I get to see them
tomorrow night.
Yes.
And
go.
Against St.
another
Mary's.
big game. St. Mary's. It's a
That'll
big
be a
test.
great game.
Rumble for the crumble, baby.
Oh,
it
here we
is.
go.
Jake's line.
We will have crumble. We will have crumble this time.
Yep.
Unlike the girls' basketball game, unfortunately. We're not going to get into that. But Oakland Tech, number 4. They were also in the Nike Tournament of Champions. I don't think they were in the Hoop Hall West bracket. They were in a different bracket. But they were runner-ups in their bracket. They lost to Rancho Cucamonga in the finals.
Yeah, those are tough teams.
Again, SoCal teams, they're just a different animal, man.
Yeah.
St. Ignatius, number 5. They did not play last week. Serra only 1 game. Last week they beat Acalanes, like we mentioned earlier. They're number 6. Mitty, number 7. They also only had 1 game. They beat Head Royce, heading into league play tomorrow night against our number 8 team, Valley Christian, who was resting last week, so they did not play anything or any game.
Yep.
Dougherty Valley, number 9. They beat Alameda, and I made a mistake on the show poll. I put Clayton Valley at number 6. I meant to put them at number 10. So here they are, number 10, Clayton Valley, who did not play last week, right? I mean, the record, tough schedule, but it's like you can't really put them over, Mitty or Valley or Dougherty. So that was a little bit of a mistake on my part, but.
Yep. Capolindo's been playing some great basketball.
You know what?
That's a good bubble team, wouldn't you say?
And I was just about to say, Moreau. I think Moreau was on our poll, kind of dropped out a little bit, but even though they didn't lose a game yet, it's just there's better competition out there that they
there's these national tournaments
exactly
for God's
right.
sakes,
So
and
Moreau is definitely in our poll or in our bubble. Capolindo is in our bubble.
Yep.
Let me see.
It's hard
Bellarmine's in our bubble too. Why
I was
the heck
gonna
not?
say
Bellarmine's decent.
It's really easy for our bubble to become a very large bubble. There's a lot of teams there, I feel like, that are on the cusp that deserve,
Exactly.
honorable recognition,
And
honorable
again,
mention. There it is.
This is completely different from football, right? The way we do the polls, right? So,
course.
everyone's playing 2-3 games a week,
Right.
It's a long season,
So,
a lot of ball.
Long season in a span of what, like 6 weeks before like playoffs. So,
Yeah.
man, I cannot believe I'm saying that right now.
I can't believe it either.
It's like we're
And I can't believe it's not butter.
oh my word.
I
I
can't
haven't
believe
had
it's not
that.
Miracle Whip.
I haven't had that in a long time.
I
But
don't
yeah,
think
so
that's
You would always see those commercials.
Yeah.
You
Well,
would always see those commercials.
boys, what do you think of the polls? What do you think?
Yeah, I like
This is
the
it.
poll. There's a lot of good bubble teams. I mentioned Camp Lindo. I think you can make a great case for Moreau Catholic,
Yeah.
especially when they start, diving in the league play. I mean, they actually have, but I mean, I think you look at Bellarmine, but I mean, at the end of the day, the WCAL, I mean, we just don't know what's going to
Exactly.
happen. I mean,
Speaking of
got-
that, the unpredictability factor of the East Bay League, which Dublin,
De La
SRV,
Salle.
De La, Granada, Dougherty. Am I missing it? California,
Yeah,
Amador Valley.
California's had a great non-league schedule. They've been playing some great basketball.
Exactly.
We get to really see them in action once they get into league play, as
Exactly.
well as Livermore.
Livermore,
yes, we did
yeah.
cover them. They have a few losses on the season, but they had a great non-league schedule. And
Exactly,
Mike
yeah.
Tripp, he's trying to turn the program around. He's done a great job thus far.
And you know what? I'm gonna put Milpitas, Pali, and Los Gatos in that bubble as well. Milpitas, Los Gatos, and
Pally,
Pali.
yes.
Yeah, I know.
Milpitas, I can see that too.
Well, their big win is St. Mary's of Stockton earlier this season.
Yep.
That's a big win. I think it was like a tournament in Stockton or something like that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's the poll. I think is actually good. I say
Yeah, no,
actually
this
good
is-
like it's not.
I think
Oh,
this
I'm
is a
shocked.
solid poll.
But no, I think it's a very solid
Yeah.
poll. Just watching those bubble teams closely, right? I think that, like I said, I think that bubble easily becomes very large.
well, it's already big now.
I know exactly.
big
That's
now,
what I'm saying.
right?
And the
So,
poll,
I
I mean, it's a long season. That's the thing with basketball. That's
Actually,
how it's different from football. I feel like it's gonna be other than
Yeah.
the top 1 or 2 teams, maybe
SRV
three.
could jump it back into this poll.
Exactly.
by the
any
Oh,
end
given
of
that's
this
right.
week.
SRV's not even in this poll, and
Yeah.
they're still in the bubble. And I'm also putting. I think Northgate's having a good season so far. They're also in the bubble.
Yep.
I'm putting them in.
Yeah.
So
It's any given Sunday
and
kind
St.
of thing.
Mary's,
I
and
think-
St. Mary's of Albany.
Yep.
If they beat Salesian tomorrow,
Yeah.
they are officially in the bubble.
I mean, we always talk about so much hype with the East Bay League. I mean, I give it a lot of hype, and
But they
it's- and
deserve
it's
it, though.
It's a very entertaining.
exactly.
league.
Yeah.
I have no idea what we're gonna expect in the Diablo.
Yeah. That too.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings me back to my first year being here at Cal High.
That's right,
When
yep.
the Diablo was the top division, when it was Camp Lindo, Miramonte, Clayton Valley, Northgate. Those were the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
And that was such a fun league.
And Alhambra, well, not, but Alhambra this year too. They're in the. I'm putting them in the bubble too. Why the heck not?
Alhambra, okay.
We're putting all the teams, but Alhambra is having a good season
Yeah.
too.
Any given Sunday, you could walk your way in the
Exactly.
poll.
So,
All right, sounds good. All right, I think that about wraps it. Thank you so much for joining us. I think it's safe to say, ladies and gentlemen, you've that was a bad
we missed it.
throw.
Oh no!
Been covered.
All right.
Nikon had to run over to that camera.
Yeah.
Wait.